You bet it's lunchtime. Today I'm going through the process of rebuilding the head on the 28 Chevy. So I hope you guys like it.
Dad, no, not the car. Real lunchtime. Real lunchtime.
What, I have to feed you guys too?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so this is some footage of me taking the springs off of the head and taking the valves out. My buddy Dave was instructing me on how to use his pneumatic spring compressor. You could do this without the pneumatic one. The book says that you could use your fingers and a screwdriver to compress the springs and be able to do this. I tried it, and it is very hard, so we went with the pneumatic route. This machine makes easy work of this process, so you just compress it, and here you take the little pin out that holds the top plate of the spring on. Once you get that spring off, or the pin out, the spring just pops out, lift it off, press on the other side of the valve comes out. So I've got the head here of my 28 engine, Chevy engine. I've already taken the springs and the valves out. And right now, I just kind of wanted to show you how the rocker arms, just attached here with these two bolts. Take those bolts off and this whole assembly comes off. I'm going to take these apart and just see if the shaft is in good shape. Just clean it up, re-lube it, put it back together. Cool. So my plan is to keep each one of these sets together, right? So I don't think it's that imperative that each one of these rocker arms goes to a certain valve. So I'm just going to keep this set together and keep that set together. This comes out apart pretty easy. Bolts come out. And this spring holds the tension on all these rocker arms. If you take these little tops off, and these just slide back and forth. And then at the end, just have a couple cotter pins holding everything together. Take those out. Easy peasy. So there's the cotter pin and a little washer. So I'm gonna set these up so I know what order they came in. That comes off. Looks like there's a bushing in there. So I could probably get new bushings if I wanted to, but honestly, there is zero play in these. So I don't think I'm gonna do that. No play at all. Spring. Bet some of you are just kind of resentful of me. I see pictures of people posting their engines just buried in nearly a century of rust and a couple decades worth of rat nests. I do realize I've got it pretty easy with mine. Cool. Just kind of running my finger across this. I don't feel any massive divots or wear points. I think I'm just going to keep these because you could buy a new shafts, new bushings, all that stuff. but I'm a baller on a budget. So if I don't really need to replace them, I'm not going to. That seems really good. So anyways, I'm gonna clean these rocker arms up, and when I come back, we'll put it back together. All right, yeah. One thing I came across when I'm cleaning these is you have to remember there's no oil being pumped to these, so you have to lube them up on your own, and you lube them up through these little holes that are on top of each arm, right? And I've noticed on mine, they were just all gunked up with the stuff. So I just found this wire, looks like an old coat hanger that somebody straightened out over the years. I just took that and put it down inside, and I hope to show you, if you look down in there, kind of see that hole, you see all the gunk come out. Did one, and yeah, not too much stuff in there on that one, but yeah, just kind of cleaned it out. Make sure that opens up so that your shaft is getting lots of oil on it. Okay. All right, so I cleaned everything up. I just used some brake cleaner and some light wool there. Just got some of the gunk off, cleaned up inside there, cleaned out those ports as I said, and now we're ready to put it back together. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna start with the cotter pin first. Come on, cotter pin, you're making me look bad. There it goes. Then we had a washer. On there. So I got the washer on there, and now I'm just gonna take a little bit of oil, start putting it on this thing. I don't think I need to go too crazy with it. And after I cleaned off the old oil that was burnt on there, I put the arms back on and tried to move them around, and there is no play in them at all. So I'm not going to replace any of these. I don't know if you could see them right there. There's some wear marks right there. They're very slight. You can feel them. But those are the only ones that I have on this one. But anyways, so I put some lube on there, some oil, and I'm just gonna slide these back on. Yeah. And remember, there's nothing in between. We're gonna put these little spacers back on there eventually, but I just want to get all the other parts on. Nice. Okay, and see how I set them up here? Right behind here, I set them all in order so they go right back where they were. My spring back on. Another arm. Another arm. Got a washer. Just takes the guesswork out of it. If you have some sort of system, either take lots of pictures, do what I do, make videos. There it goes. And there you have it. Still want to clean these up, but those are going to go back on there like that. And once I get my springs and valves back on there, be good to go. So that's how to tear apart your rocker arms, move them all up. So what you're going to need to lap your valves, some valve grinding compound, okay? And you just put a little bit around the edge of each valve. do the same thing. Run the valve opening there. Okay. Go ahead and drop the valve in place. Clean it up a little bit. All the grease and oils off. This is what you need. A suction cup. Okay, and I don't have a tripod with me right now, and all I'm going to do is kind of like starting a fire, right? Turn it, do it again. Turn it, do it again. And I'll show you what we get afterwards. Again, I got my valve on the suction cup. Put it down there, like so. A little twist. Rotate it. That is it. Cleaned up a little bit. And you can see I don't know if you're gonna see it in this light. See where there's just a distinct line where that's where the valve sits now. So I've lapped all my valves now. Good. And just to give you a heads up of what I like to do, just keep them all in order, because now that I've lapped them, this first valve is dedicated now to this right here. Right? So all in order. Got the valve, a little pin, and my spring. So as long as nobody bumps my table, we're good to go. Other than that, I just kind of went through the head. I blew out, I think you call it the water jacket, right? All kinds of rust and everything were coming out of there, out of all these ports. So just blew it out real good until nothing came out. And just scrubbed all the gunk off of it. Got the grease off of it. And I hope to paint this pretty quick here. So I just took out these 2 screws here. Started taking this plate off and thought, somebody might want to see this. So you can see there's a bunch of rust in there, just flaking off. And the thermostat is just sitting in there. It is loose. There it goes. There's the housing. So I'm doubting that that's the way it's supposed to look. If you shake it, you can hear water. Not sure if you can hear that. But anyways, I'm gonna order another one of these. Clean up the housing here, and we should be good to go. All right, so I've cleaned everything up. The water outlet, I just cleaned up all the rust in there, blew it all out, scraped off all the chunks of rust as best I could. The outside got a paint job, it's nice and shiny. Got a new thermostat. The old one was toast. Just for anybody that's wondering, I've got the stamped Superstat. There's part number there. Here's another tag if you guys need a reference. and I just ordered these through the filling station. One thing that I had to do, this little plate, when I took it out, was all rusted out. This hole right here was actually broken. It just rusted off. So I put some weld on there and ground off the excess, opened up the hole again, and we should be good to go. Looks pretty good. I also put some rust prevention spray on there. I don't know if that's necessary or not, but did it anyways. So, I'm gonna put the thermostat in. Take your housing, my new thermostat. Fits in there nicely. And the plate's just gonna act like a little fork. Gonna hold it in place, just like that. Set that aside for a minute. That plate's held in place by these little brass screws here. I'm just gonna put a little Loctite on there. There we go. So I've got the head painted up. All the valves are back in. Springs on top. So now I'm just going to put back on the thermostat and the water outlet. And I'm also going to put the rocker arm assemblies back on. Got my gasket. Set it there. There we go. Thermostat's back on. And really, I'm just putting these back on so I don't have a bunch of loose parts sitting around my shop. Once I get the block back and it all built up, I'm gonna have to set the spacing for these. So I'm not even gonna tighten them up right now because I might need to take them off again. Guess not, I could tighten them up just a little bit. Again, just to kind of get them out of my way and so I don't lose parts. Wanted to show too, got these little felt washers Here's the packaging if you guys want to order those. And they just go on the end of these adjusting nuts, I guess you can call them. And you lube those up, and that helps keep your rods lubed up. They just slip on there like that. Okay. And again, these are just being set on here temporarily. Cool. There we have it. Head is put back together. So again, let me know if I missed something. And if you're liking what you're seeing, please subscribe. That's going to help me out. And also any pointers that you can give me on how to build an engine or how to do better videos, let me know. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.